Hey guys, Amy, president of Inspired Development Group here. We bought a new house, Chicago's suburbs again. This is going to be about a 6-week project, so stay tuned. It's going to be a fun ride. See you guys along the way. How did we get here? It's been 18 months. What happened?
Yeah. Well, let me start by telling you that when we first purchased this property, we found out that the porch was not permitted. So when the inspectors came in and saw that the porch was not permitted, that allowed them to take a walk through the rest of the property. And when they took a walk through the rest of the property, they also found out that the second story that was put on the house was also done without a permit.
The entire second story.
The entire second story was done without a permit. So we then had to totally stop because they forced us to stop. This is unincorporated, so you have to deal with both the village and the county.
Right.
So what we had to do then is this caused us to now bring in an architect to redraw the areas that were a problem. And now that process took several months back and forth, and then submitting it to both the county and the village for approval. That process took a long period of time to finally then get the permits to get us back where we are to start doing work again. Now, that didn't get us out of the hot water, because once we got the permits, we were able to start back to work doing the structural things that the village and county wanted us to do. However, when they came for inspections after the structural things were done, the plumbing inspector had come out and seen that the plumbing that was done was not to code anymore. So that caused us to have to now change the plumbing in the entire house. I know these are things you don't want to hear.
I know.
Because this continues to rack up more and more money.
And time and
Right. I mean, this house has been a headache, and it has been an absolute headache. So finally, the electric inspection came out. He came out with the HVAC guy to find out that all the ductwork in the house was also not to code. So we changed all the ductwork, we changed the furnace in the entire house. So we are probably $40,000 over budget right now. I know. And now it's just, let's finish this thing. Let's get out from underneath this. Whatever profit is left, it's going to be minimal, but that's not what this is about. And I think now, after several months, 18 to be more exact, we're going to finally get this thing completed to sell it to a happy homeowner. So unfortunately, these are things that we couldn't see ahead of time. I mean, this is not anything that is because you should have known. This is something that we would have known ahead of time.
But this is why I got a title. I got an owner's policy. I got my title done. Isn't that something that should, no?
Hello, Amy. Professor Andrew Wishover, Inspired Title. I understand you have a question for me?
I do. So we found that the entire back porch and the entire second story was unpermitted. So why wouldn't that come up on title?
Great question. What happens typically is that we do a title search for your property, and that handles everything that is a lien against your property, any mortgages, any mechanics liens, which would be done by contractors, etc.
Taxes.
Nothing, exactly.
Right.
Nothing that we do helps for permits, because that's not something that's recorded.
Right.
When you do the FOIA request, that still doesn't tell you. It would tell you if there were open permits, but it would not tell you if there were any permits asked for, issued, or anything like that. It only tells you that if there were any issues or problems on the property. So this is unfortunately not something that your title insurance policy would ever cover against any kind of loss or damage for anything.
But it's still important. Titles are still important because you do clear anything that is on record.
Of course, yes, you are protected from that stuff, but as far as the inspections and things, that is not something that the title report would ever cover.
All right.
This is Andrew Wishover from Inspired Title, signing out. I hope that answered your question, Amy.
It did, with plenty of detail, so
Very good.
I do appreciate that. So fortunately, that is in the past, and we are back moving?
On track.
Okay, so hopefully about 3 weeks is what we're thinking, right?
That is correct.
All right, so this is Project Manager Drew, President Amy, with Inspired Development. And remember, with Inspired Development, it's the beginning of anything you want.